Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. I want to ask each of you, what do you wish you had said on last week's show but didn't? Becki Gray, I'll start with you.
Well, I think just talking about the campaigns that are coming up, and we mentioned briefly about the gubernatorial races. I think there is so much animosity, there's so much disagreement, there's such high unapproval ratings that no matter who wins this presidential election in November, we're going to continue to have gridlock in Washington. So where do you turn for American creativity, innovation, for the protection of freedom and liberty in this country? And it really is going to fall to the states. So I think we're going to be looking more and more for leadership at the state level through the governor's office, and with all these lawsuits, and we've talked about it on the show, and we talk about it frequently on the show, with all these lawsuits and legal challenges that are going on. I think these attorney generals in the states are another place where we can look for protection of freedom and liberty and American innovation that we're not going to get out of Washington.
John, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
Speaking about the campaigns also, we discussed a little bit the fact that the Democrats have a bigger ground game right now in North Carolina Democratic Party than the Republican Party. But, you know, that dramatically understates what's going on the ground this year. There are going to be hundreds of people working for nonprofits and independent expenditure groups on the left and the right. On the left, abortion rights groups, environmental groups, civil rights groups of various sorts. On the right, veterans groups, tax groups, education groups, social values groups. Hundreds of people paid out there turning out the vote because it has turned out to be a better investment of donor money than buying a bunch of ads.
Yeah, you said on last week's show that it may become even more significant than all these barrages of
A lot
television.
of times you get a better bang for that buck.
All right, Chris, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
Well, we're going to have a lot of silly charges made back and forth during the election. We talked about briefly about the economy and Cooper's message and McCrory's message. I was really interested this past week, or I guess maybe it was a week and a half ago, the McCrory administration touting a ranking from CNBC saying North Carolina was fifth best in the country for business. That was a ranking that Republicans used to poo-poo when Democrats used to brag about. And in fact, many years before McCrory came to office, it was actually higher. So now they're saying, oh, we're fifth in the country for business. Well, a couple years under Governor Perdue, we were fourth and we were third. Also, the ranking mentioned that HB2 is having a negative impact on North Carolina, which of course didn't make the press release. I don't think any of that matters, but it's fascinating to me that the same people who are criticizing business rankings are now using them to tout their own agenda.
Brad, what do you wish you'd have said on last week's show?
You know, we were talking about the conventions, Tom, and I think you're going to see a huge contrast between the Democratic convention coming up this week and the Republican convention you just saw in Cleveland. And I think truly the trailer park crowd of the Republican Party has taken over as the thought leaders of their party. And they are low education, low-informed leaders in their own party.
I think I'm going to give your mail address to all the people who are going to write me.
It's true. I mean, the stalwarts, your Rockefellers, your Goldwaters, the Reagans, the Fords, you do not see that type leadership in the Republican Party, and they, after this election, have got to dust themselves off and try and figure out what type of party they're going to be.
Did you see where George Bush said he might be the last Republican president ever elected?
Yeah, because you could see a full split of the Republican Party between the Chamber of Commerce crowd and the trailer park crowd.
Well, thanks for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.